Your Views, My Facts begins in 3, 2, 1. Welcome to Your Views and My Facts. I am Thomas John. Glad to be back with everybody. We've got Cameron, we've got Will, we've got Rich in the studio currently. We will introduce Cameron shortly, and he can give a little bio about himself, where he's from, what he's doing. But we've got some good topics to talk about today. We're going to probably have a lot of good humor. I'm going to probably have some anger going on due to some of the topics that I'm going to get to, but we're going to try to keep it light, have some fun with it, and just live with everything. So let me start with Rich. Rich, how you been?
Doing pretty good.
I always do this every single time where I forget to unmute you guys.
It's all good. Yeah, I'm doing pretty well, actually. I'm just here with you guys today, and then we'll see how this fight goes on Saturday.
That's true. We will see. We got a quick update on that fight as well. Will, talk to me, man.
I'm doing well. Hopefully, I'll be able to watch this fucking fight on Saturday.
Well, why hopefully? I mean, you know where we're going.
I'm supposed to work, so we'll see what happens here.
The man always gets you.
Yeah, he does.
All right, and then, so latest edition, we've got Cameron. Cameron, go ahead and say hello. Tell us a little bit about yourself, what you like to do for fun.
Hello. You know.
That was such a long delay, and you weren't muted there.
All right, let's see what I like to do. Pretty much play video games or fucking hang out with people.
Sort of like what you're doing right now.
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay. Well, that's
I think
good.
he's nervous. He looks nervous first time on the mic.
I think he just
Sorry.
didn't want to say after playing video games he probably masturbates.
Well, I didn't tell you what video games I was playing.
Do they make those type of video games
Oh,
now?
of course. Virtual reality has improved everything.
No wonder you were on that waiting list for the Oculus.
Huh?
Oh, goodness gracious. All right. Well, hey, Cam, it's great that you were here. We're all glad that you're here. So hopefully you can add another dynamic to the show and make it interesting. And you know what? If the listeners like you, maybe they'll follow you. Do you have a Twitter account?
No.
Okay.
Facebook?
Facebook?
Nah, I got a personal one.
All right.
But-
Well.
And I don't do anything.
All right, so look, if you want to hit any of us up, go ahead and look us up on Twitter at ViewsandFacts. You can also find us on Facebook at ViewsandFacts as well. So let's get into a quick few updates. I want to start with UFC.
Oh, I knew you were going to do this, man.
Of course I was going to do this. Why would I not do this?
I know, because I'm here. Why wouldn't you do it?
All right, so in case you haven't heard, breaking news from TMZ, which was that just happened yesterday. So back on July 29th, we had UFC 214.
Yep.
John Jones defeated Daniel Cormier, and his test came back, and he popped positive for steroids. Will, how does that make you feel inside?
I'm like disappointed, and I feel like a lot of people are like, oh, that's it. You know, I'm giving up on John, blah, blah, blah. I think I'll always be like a Bones Jones fan regardless of the situation. And here's the thing too, like they still have to go through the formal process of actually proving what was it, like did he actually take those, or were they in some of his supplements that were tainted, things like that. So it could actually turn out to be a situation where he's actually not at fault for what happened.
I'm going to find that extremely hard to believe because
Well, yeah, I mean, prior fucking things that have happened, you would think that, like, okay, yeah, he was probably shooting that shit up.
well, right, yeah, he's already been caught once for cheating, surprisingly enough, against Daniel Cormier, and his little excuse bullshit was that his sexual enhancement dick growth thing was tainted, which, look, maybe it was, maybe it wasn't, but I don't know how you can be such a famous athlete or any type of superstar or celebrity, and you do not have people that are checking these things out to a T. It's unbelievable. So his one and only time that he had tested positive before was back at UFC 200 then, and now...
Well, he tested positive for metabolites from cocaine prior to that, but that's not really, I don't know if that gets into like performance enhancing. That's just being a little reckless.
Right, but he necessarily wouldn't have been suspended because of the drug aspect or like the DUI and so forth and the hit and run. It was the actual steroid piece that they said, all right, we have to give you a suspension. Anyways, UFC 200, boom, got popped, and that was against DC. And now here we are, UFC 214. He gets popped again for, what was the substance?
Turnaball, I want to say.
Yeah, that sounds about right. Which was the same substance that Frank Mir was caught with
And he
way
was
back in the
suspended for
day.
2 years.
Right. Going back to it coming back, yeah. I mean, the science, not the science, what word am I looking for here when they went to test for it? Now, so in the lab, yeah, it went through an accredited like World Anti-Doping Agency lab, which is 99.99% always valid. And before they even say that it was positive, they retest it themselves before they even come out. So I think he's screwed and whatever. I know that they're coming out with all their BS like, well, all the random drug tests we passed and the one that was announced like we're going to fail. It's like, well, yeah, because you're stupid.
But the one thing that doesn't make sense is he had passed multiple drug tests up until the situation and then finally popped hot after the weigh-in, which when you take a steroid like that, the effects aren't necessarily immediate. So that's what kind of leads me to believe, well, I want to believe that, it was a tainted supplement or something like that because it wouldn't make any sense for him to take it after the weigh-in.
Turnaball is used for a lot of bodybuilding competitions.
Yeah.
Right, yeah, for lean muscle and like recovery. The simple fact that he used it the day prior doesn't mean that he wasn't using these steroids before, or leading up to it, right? I mean, it all could have been part of the stacked schedule. I don't do steroids, but I'm pretty sure that's the term.
Oh yeah, I'm not really into like how long it's in the system or what the situation was as far as the other tests because apparently he was clean all the way up until the weigh-ins. After the weigh-ins, that's when he failed. So
we'll see. My fingers are crossed that he's fucked.
And I'm opposite of that.
How's your steroid taking going, Cameron?
I don't want to talk about it.
Okay. Now, what's funny, see, there's some humor to that and truth because he has taken steroids for his knees.
No. I didn't take steroids for my knees.
I thought you got steroid shots.
No, those weren't cortisone shots. Those were like goop shots.
You always said they were steroid shots, man.
No, man, that was Sean who got steroid shots for something. I said it wasn't cortisone shots. Yeah.
I guess I stand corrected.
Yeah.
Unless you're lying to me.
We'll never know.
I guess you're right.
We could test him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wait, if I was doing steroids, I feel like I'd be a little bit bigger right now.
Don't worry.
Right? Unless I'm not doing them right.
Maybe.
Oh.
Depends what you're taking.
Oh, is there bad steroids? Or
Man, this episode isn't about steroids. All right, let's move on. We can do one on steroids, but
all right, the other small little tidbit from the fight world that I want to hit on then. So we've got 2 days left, 2 days only until the biggest fight that there is probably in history. So Mayweather-McGregor. And the only update for you, if you have not been aware, is that they have moved from 10-ounce gloves to 8-ounce gloves that actually got approved. So that should add a lot more fireworks and dynamics to the show. So again, that for me was the only update that I saw. Did you guys have any other updates?
Nope.
No. I know I just looked at the betting in Vegas. They said roughly around 87% of people are actually putting their money down on McGregor on the pure fact that's the best chance you have to actually make money, right? Because for Mayweather, for you to make money on betting on Mayweather, you have to put far more down because obviously he's the favorite.
Right.
So 87% of people so far have put their money down on McGregor, but roughly around like 93% of experts say that McGregor doesn't have a shot.
Yeah, I agree with that. Just to correct the verbiage, though, you putting the money down on McGregor does not give you the best chance of making money. It gives you the
most money to be made.
The most money to be made.
Correct. Sorry.
Okay. All right. What am I looking at here?
Yeah, I was showing you what the belt's made out of that they're fighting.
Why do you just
well, no,
come on, man, say it.
Yeah,
Talk to me here.
Did you see the belt?
No, I didn't see the belt.
Insane,
Oh, really?
man. Yeah.
Dude, they made their own belt and they called it the money belt. And they supposedly spent, I think it was $400,000 on this fucking belt.
Dude, it's like
It's got to be cooler than
it's 3,300 diamonds and
Dude,
alligator
$400,000 on a fucking belt for this fight.
First impression, TJ. What do you think?
It looks like a cheap ass belt.
Yeah. It looks
Every boxing belt looks cheap as shit.
That's true.
They all do, and then that is second to the MMA and your WWE belts. They just look like fake plastic. I'm sure there's more to it, but
Dude, I would fight Mayweather for that belt.
Well, yeah, so would I. But yeah,
You got the steroids. You're already halfway there.
over 3,300 diamonds, 600 sapphires, 160 emeralds, and approximately 3.3 pounds of 24 karat gold.
And alligator skin. Don't forget that.
Sure, and the alligator skin. That's crazy. That okay.
The money fight for the money belt. Who would have thought?
But I don't know why they're throwing all the other flags around the belt when it should just be the American flag and the Ireland flag.
I think it's because it's the World Boxing Federation, right? Isn't Worldwide Boxing Federation or whatever that sanctions the belts?
I guess, but
I'm not sure.
So I think that's why it's all the different countries. It's just to show who's
they had to do it.
Who's allowed in. Yeah.
But you threw the names on the belt, so it's not like anybody else is going to get it. I mean,
Yeah, and it's not like if McGregor wins, he's going to have to defend the money belt, right?
Well, that's debatable.
Yeah.
Will he have to defend,
Mayweather comes back
the
for
money
it.
belt?
Yeah.
that is
You
crazy.
challenge him for the belt, right? Any belt?
Because to
As long
me,
as
it's
you
almost
fight in that
like
range.
it's almost like they just made up this belt for this
Just
fight.
for the hype, bro. It's all about hype.
They just made this belt for this fight. Like there's no other correlation to it.
And we're all gonna who's ever buying these fights, one of us in here is,
Yeah.
paying
or
for
one of
this
our
stupid-ass
friends
belt.
is helping to pay, for that belt.
I'm telling you, if I had this belt, I'd wear it every day.
You wear a lot of things every day that I'm not sure about.
Yeah, well, I don't know if I'm wearing underwear right now, so.
TMI.
It's all good. Anything goes in the podcast den, man.
We still need a name. We still need a good name.
Yeah, we haven't named this place yet.
We'll look, if you're out there listening and you could think of some just clever name for our little studio that we're in, let us know on Twitter at ViewsandFacts, hashtag ViewsandFacts podcast room. So, going along with the betting lines, I think it was minus 500 and plus 400 are the latest lines for that. But let me get into, I want to tell you guys a story here. Have you guys ever saved a life?
Oh my God. Yeah, I have.
I have, yeah. And dog lives. Dog lives and human lives I've saved.
Like you're talking about legitimately saving someone's
Oh,
life
yeah,
from
legitimate.
death, or like you save someone, they look at you as their idol, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
There's
Oh,
probably
wait, what are you talking about? Are you talking about like saving someone from death, or someone is looking up to you as their idol, like, oh man, you saved my life?
No, I saved them from death. Pure death was coming their way.
Okay, yeah, I've never
The Grim
I've never
Reaper.
saved anyone.
Can you ensure it was pure death coming their way?
All right, so let me tell you guys a story, and you guys, I'm going to let you two be the judge. I'll say 3, but clearly somebody else in this room is part of this program who I saved the other day. Here we are. We're going down to the local casino, and as we're driving through one of the local towns, we're exiting out of the backside of it, and this old highway does like an S turn. Okay. Now, this S turn is only long enough for when you are coming around the first bend, like as soon as the road would straighten out, it's immediately doing now the second portion of its curve. So there's some house that lives off of this straightened portion of this S curve. Maybe it's not a house, maybe it's some business, poorly designed.
Something with a driveway.
Something with a driveway. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Is this like a murder house?
No.
Who's
It may be.
Who's
It
to
could
say?
have been.
Who's to say? But traffic is just horrendous. Now, coming into town, we're going out of town, but traffic was just bad. So I'm driving along. I'm being a good driver. I do not have my phone in my hand. I'm not even looking at my phone. I'm not doing anything but watching the road, and I'm driving in front of me, right? So there's,
Well,
I got.
He's also telling me to text you too at this moment. Also,
That's true, but that's besides the point.
That's safe.
Right, yeah, exactly. Yeah, because
I'm
I'm.
not doing it.
You're right.
Those are good life choices.
So then all of a sudden, again, so here I'm making this turn, first S curve. I straighten out. Out of nowhere, here's this fucking van coming out of this driveway, literally cuts like right in front of me to where I had to slam on the brakes. The tires squealed. And now I'm going to hit this van unless I think quick, and I go to save Cameron's life. So I swerved off all the way over into the median, maintained, control, and then got around this van and went along my merry way, and I got Cameron safely to the casino. But he could be dead right now. And he's trying to tell me I did not save his life.
I think you might have saved both of you guys' lives.
Be grateful.
It was like 35. I was in a truck. I felt safe.
Wait, you said you're only going 35?
Yeah.
I've been in a car accident going 35 miles an hour. Almost broke my fucking collarbone, man.
But did you die?
No.
Oh,
You
see?
could definitely get fucked up, though.
Oh, you
the
could die.
lady that hit us, she got fucked up bad.
But it would have been a rear ending, so it wouldn't have been like the van would have got fucked up for sure.
Look, he keeps trying to extrapolate this potential accident.
I don't think I
and
was
the thing
gonna
is
die.
that I saved
felt
his life.
safe during the whole thing. So
I mean,
nothing
who's to-
flashed
who-
between my eyes.
Who's to tell if you were going to live or die? But you're here with us now, so you should be grateful, right?
Hashtag grateful.
Hashtag grateful. Hashtag blessed. Hashtag TJ saved you.
No.
So,
We're not going with that one.
so what I said, he's indebted to me, right?
No.
I mean, isn't that how it works?
At least owes you a hand job.
Something.
Well, I offered an over the pants hand job and he denied it.
well, TJ, you know, I don't really know what's to be said about that.
Wait, which
sometimes-
part did I owed something or the over the
I don't know.
pants hand
I'm
job?
just saying, you might not have gotten a better offer. That's all I'm saying.
Should I have been more dramatic with my story or more dramatic with the outcome of what it was crazy.
The way
I was calm. This dude, he almost was crying on my shoulder.
I
No,
mean,
man, I was texting. Like, legitimately timestamped, sent a text to those guys asking when they're doing this thing right now where I'm at.
the way you explained it, I think an over the pants hand job would have just handled the situation.
See,
See.
in my opinion,
That's all I'm
I
saying.
didn't know about it until after the fact. though.
I say the devil is in the detail. I'm wondering if you reached over and gave one of those mom grabs, you know, like
No.
when you were braking and also maneuvering. Did you like maneuver with one hand, reach over with your right hand and guard him, ensuring that he does not fly forward?
Yeah, you're talking about like me being Michael Orr in The Blind Side and like I'm saving the kid's life. Like, boom.
Exactly.
Yeah.
No,
It was
that's
close.
not what happened. He was
Yeah,
taking right
hand job at a
turn
minimum,
over.
maybe even on bare skin.
I was doing so many things at once to keep him
These things are
safe
so
and
calloused
secure.
over, I don't even think you want bearskin on them.
Yeah, I'm saying if you put the arm out, a hand job will do. If you didn't put the arm out over the pants, you're good, man.
Oh, the hand, my hand was definitely out.
Oh, fucking
Protecting him.
whatever.
Where were his hands?
I just told you. Texted.
At that time, they were texting.
Yeah.
That's why I put my hand over because he didn't have time to react.
So it's
he didn't
safe-
have time to protect, do anything.
It's safe to say he was looking at the screen, so he wouldn't have known if his life was in danger. or
That's
not.
true.
No, I saw the
That's
van,
true.
too.
I
I
yes.
just, when he was swerving, I just continued to text because I felt safe. You know. I guess I never feel in danger, so I never have to react.
That's how I do it too, man.
Look, did you tell your wife this story?
No.
Oh, it couldn't have even been that serious.
Yeah,
then.
see?
No, he's still in shock.
Nah.
He's still in. I'm gonna text her later, and I'm gonna let her know the story, and then she's gonna ask you probably to, do a favor for me.
I don't think so.
I'm telling you.
The worst thing that will happen is she'll tell me that I'm not allowed to drive in your car anymore. That's pretty much how it. The
What?
only possibility. It's like, well, you're not allowed to go.
You,
with
you know
TJ
I'm
anymore.
going to attack the phrase you just said, right?
What?
You're not allowed to drive in my car anymore.
Whatever. Yeah.
I don't want you to drive in my car. Period.
Yeah,
I just
me
want you to
driving
ride.
my car into yours, right? That's how it works. I never told you my wife was good at speaking either. So.
That wasn't your wife. That was you.
Oh no, yeah. You know, birds of a feather, something like that, right?
Here's a great story. If you guys want to get to know Cam, ask Cam.
Oh, here we go.
Ask Cam what he got his wife for Christmas.
That would be nothing. No, well, I did do her a favor that night.
What'd you do?
Sling her the D.
Nice.
Wait, hold on. Wait, was that the answer?
That is the answer. He literally got her no gifts. He told her, "I'm not getting you any gifts this year for Christmas, but I will give you some dick."
Not a bad gift.
Yeah, yeah. See, it's not my personality or looks that caught her.
Then it definitely wasn't money.
Yeah, it's definitely not fucking money. So narrow it down. How else are you gonna snag a girl?
Ether.
Ether.
Oh my god.
Yeah, I guess.
I'm just saying, in his case.
I might have left myself open for that.
If you knew Cam, you know that would be right up his alley.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Here comes the ether bunny. You can't even say anything. I got you.
I just
Backpedaling.
I feel like that takes too much effort for me though,
It is a lot of effort.
and I'm a very effortless person, so you just got to treat women like shit, and they'll come to you.
Okay, TJ does not subscribe to that fact.
On that note, we should move on.
Yeah.
We should move on.
I'm kidding.
He's probably not kidding, but we are going to move on from the subject.
Okay, so saving lives. That's what I do all the time. Who else saves lives? Go on.
A couple years back, you and I saved a life. One night, we went down to the ER with a friend, right? Ensured that he didn't do anything drastic.
That's true. I mean, I don't know how much of this story I'm supposed to get out there. I don't know if our eyes exactly are lined up on this one.
What I'm saying is we were there for somebody when they needed it, and this gentleman today is doing very well for himself now.
Well, that's good to know.
Yep.
I mean, I'll be honest. I thought that whole night was a sham and a joke. I'm just being completely honest. I was frustrated. I was irritated about it. I don't want to dive too much into the scenario, right? Because it's a personal matter. But yes, either or. I would go down there for any of you guys, right? Or be there if you guys needed help. That doesn't mean that I'm not going to still be pissed.
Oh, of course.
Yeah, fair enough.
It's like the parent waking up to go get their kid. Like, I'm drunk and I get, crying, doing whatever bullshit. And like, okay, I'll go get them. They're still going to get an ass whooping.
Yeah, got to contemplate if you're going to shake the baby.
Right.
So you just consented to shaking a kid, by the way.
Well,
How old is this baby? Because I'm still called the baby in my family. I'm 26, so
You got
just
someone
to
that
throw
hates
that one out there.
women, someone that shakes babies. We need to get on the topic.
Yeah.
Man. We need to get on the topic.
I love women.
Oh, they're awesome.
But, all right, so I go back to my question, though, then. Who else, in a general sense, saves lives?
In a very general sense?
Yes.
So you would just roll down to like firefighters, police officers, fucking
EMT.
Go on.
EMT,
Mm-hmm.
military.
Law enforcement, right? That's
Law-abiding citizens with firearms that'll go and kill a criminal.
That's true. Right. So,
Anyone who's armed.
Sometimes you have to take a life to save a life.
yeah. So now, with the military, or law enforcement, firefighters, and so forth, would we say that they have a banner that they fight under?
You're getting at the American flag, correct?
Yeah.
Okay.
So you would agree with that, though?
Yeah, I mean,
Went straight to
flag,
his mind.
right? That
Yeah, it's-
symbolizes what? Independence and all that shit?
I mean, service to the flag itself, which symbolizes us, the people, putting power within the Union.
Yeah, it symbolizes a lot of things.
Mm-hmm.
But definitely freedom, right? Where our values are at now, right? That we progressed. It is that you are, showing your patriotism, support, your solidarity to one country, right? Which is the United States of America. Can somebody please explain to me then this kneeling before the flag or turning your back against the flag during a game when you are a multi-million-dollar athlete?
Who wants to tackle this?
Okay, so the big thing in America is we're all...
And we can keep this light, by the way. It
Yeah.
is going to be serious,
Yeah.
but
So I'm not saying that I am for or against it right now with what I'm stating, right? But what I'll say is this: in America, obviously, we have our Bill of Rights, which is attached to the Constitution. And with that said, we all have our First Amendment, freedom of speech, freedom of press, and that also gives us the right to protest peacefully. This is what they feel is their opportunity to protest on a stage peacefully. Obviously, they're not doing any damage as far as physically to somebody. They're not threatening anybody. So these individuals feel that there is a social injustice being done judicially or like when it comes to law enforcement. And this is their way of protesting on a very public stage so people can feel aware of the situation.
Yeah, I agree with that. Now, here's where I have some problems, and I need you guys to help draw me some clarity in my life here.
Okay, so what is the issues that you have with people protesting in that way?
Perfect. Okay, so the first and foremost issue that I have is you kneeling or turning your back or doing anything in regards to the flag is not doing anything to solve the problem. It's not doing anything to help the problem, and I don't even agree that it is bringing attention to the problem. Because what you're doing is you're bringing attention to yourself of people not liking the fact that now you are disrespecting the flag. The flag has nothing to do with any social injustices going on, racism, bigotry, hatred. That ain't the flag.
It's not.
That's where my first problem is. So can somebody please tell me then, I mean, where their need is on that this is why they're going to do it at that given point? I mean, they can't do it before the anthem, right after the anthem, after the show. How about any time that they're actually being interviewed, then you talk about, so you caught 3 touchdowns. Not worried about the touchdowns. What I want to talk about is that so-and-so was just murdered last week. Crazy.
Yeah, that would be a different way to highlight it. I think as far as the flag and stuff like that, it plays into no press is bad press. So like the fact that you can even get attention on the subject, whether it be people hating you for it or being in the same boat as you, I think that's why it's being done. I don't necessarily agree with protesting the flag like that. The flag, like you said, does not represent racism, slavery. It doesn't represent any of those things. And the national anthem is not that in the same sense. It's more of like, we fought for the flag so we could have our freedom, so we can do these things. And that's where it gets tricky too, because like Rich was saying, it's okay for them to do that. Whether or not you agree with it, that's your own opinion. But yeah, it's totally okay for them to do what they're doing.
Yeah, I agree. I agree dead on with Will. I think that they have the right to do it. Should they do it? I don't think so, right? And I think it's the way that they view the flag. I think often of like the Johnny Cash song, Raggedy Old Flag. And in there he talks historically about what the flag has been through, right? Mentions the Civil War, mentions everything else that we've actually accomplished. And I think these individuals that want to protest social justice, by all means they can, but they don't realize that that flag may at some point have had slavery underneath it, but that flag also resulted in 80,000 plus people dying in the bloodiest war ever for us to solve the problem. So like we had our blemishes, right?
Hashtag Civil War.
Hashtag Civil War, but we got through it together. We bled for it, and we made a better union after the fact, right? And so the flag, to me, should represent just the nationalism of America. And like African Americans and blacks are a part of our history. So for them, I would want to stand for the flag because it shows what they're still striving for now with the social injustice.
Which is still fucked up too. Like if people think that there isn't social injustice, that's still a real thing. It's still a real thing.
Absolutely, but don't tread on an item that represents equality for all.
Yeah, because the flag in a sense is almost like it allows everyone to have freedom. It doesn't matter who you are, what you look like, what color your skin is. It allows you to have the freedom to do the things that you're doing.
True. If I can throw out a quick fact here. This will be my fact, by the way.
Do it.
You only get one fact for the day?
No, I might have multiple, but
You gotta get a fact counter.
That's what Cam's here for.
click. What am I up to right now?
I don't know how to count.
I mean, I'm up to at least a dozen with me saving your life on all the different points in there.
There was an alarm going out, so is that minus the fact? I can count to 10. That's
Wait, did you say there was an alarm going off?
There was no arm going out to save my life during that.
Who's to say?
Okay.
No one else was there.
So it couldn't be a fact. If it can't be proven.
Probably a fact. But, so Will, you had mentioned that no press is bad press. I would disagree with you when the LGBT community comes out against a restaurant or a bakery and says they're not making us a cake or letting us buy a pizza. That bad press gets those businesses shut down.
Yeah, no, I can't sit here and defend from that stance because that's exactly what happens. But like, given this situation, these circumstances,
yes.
No press is bad press because what's going to happen to them for protesting the flag? Nothing.
Well, if they're on our Olympic team, they could get kicked and set. sad. So should we do that with all of our sports athletes and all the teams? And then on top of that, I don't watch sports or care about their opinions on any other subject but sports. So for them to do that, I actually lose my opinion on the person, because not only are most of their conversations aren't backed by facts, they don't study up, they want to go and do that to get more publicity. Maybe they're going for a fact after their career. Maybe they're trying to help themselves. Like, all they're doing is making them get more press and not the subject get more press. So it's actually very selfish.
Yeah, I get what you're saying. Like, what motivates them to actually do it? And that would be a good point too, because you could sit there and protest the flag and say all these things, but it's kind of like what you were saying, TJ, whereas, like, what are you doing off the field to try to make the situation better? And don't just give money to people either.
Correct.
Money doesn't fix situations. And you can give money to organizations and all this shit. Like, you got to be actually out there doing it, helping the community. That would be, like, more powerful in a sense than you kneeling during the national anthem.
Oh, I agree. And just so we're all clear, and I believe you did just say this, but yet money alone will not help fix the issue. Obviously,
No,
when
not at all.
Large sums of money can, yes, obviously help a situation, but yes, it does take more intervention to help get to a cause or to help find a solution for the problem.
I disagree with that statement. I don't think money. I think money oftentimes is actually retroactive in most situations, right? Because it's like placing a Band-Aid on what needs to be stitched, right? So if you need a stitch, a Band-Aid's not going to cover you. And it's sort of like these people are willing to do philanthropy, and they're willing to give donations and charity out to those in need. And don't get me wrong, there's nothing wrong with that. But instead, what you're doing is you're making somebody rely on something. You're making somebody require the handout. You're postponing them at least coming to the sense or understanding that they need to learn something more, right? It's just like the continent of Africa. A lot of South African nations are starting to move above the poverty line. And the big thing is these nations actually realize that instead of getting aid from like the U.S. or like individuals or organizations, it's better for an organization to plant some sort of service where they're learning skill sets to create jobs, right? And what you're doing is you're actually giving somebody the opportunity to provide for themselves. And that's something I think a lot of our athletes and celebrities don't understand. Them simply giving money and aiding people is not fixing anything at all. You're actually postponing the growth and development. You might feed them for the day, but you're causing them to go weeks, months, years without getting that skill set that they need to have.
Yeah, and that's what I was saying. Like, money won't fix it. It won't. You got to be actually out there doing the shit. If you really think that there's this huge injustice and all this shit going on, like, if you're going to kneel during the national anthem, okay, but, like, what are you doing outside of that? That's what's really going to make the difference.
I have no clue.
Because I can't see how someone kneeling during the flag is going to want to motivate people to do better things and promote, justice for people. I don't see that.
It just creates more divisiveness too, because you have these high school and middle school athletes taking a look at what they're doing. I mean, you saw like a whole like football squad decide to just kneel for the national anthem, and the coach decided to cancel the season because he's just like, if it's going to be this way, you guys aren't playing, And that's the example that some of these athletes are setting for individuals, and it's not bringing awareness. It's simply they're copying it because they think it's cool. Right? But you're creating divisiveness for when they're adults and they don't respect what this nation does represent or should represent.
Right. The other issue that I have with, I'll say, at least the NFL standpoint, and Cameron brought up a good bit in regards to the Olympics, but the NBA has a policy in place, right, that you will stand.
I think another reason, because we didn't see anyone protest during the NBA season, but I think that also plays into some of the athletes, like the spokespeople that are, the biggest stars, coming out and saying, like, no one on my team will be kneeling. No one on my team will be sitting during the anthem. Like, we're a team. Like, we're not going to make shit better by dividing each other. So I think that could also help the NFL in a sense, too. Like, if there was a player that is of this superstar stature that could come out and say, like, why are we doing this? Why aren't you doing these things?
Oh, sure, but Roger Goodell, and I hate that motherfucker.
Oh, dude, agreed.
What is surprising is that you have, and this is not solely based within the NFL, so there are many other organizations, but you had Michael Vick, who was running a dog fighting, who beat his wife, who punched his girlfriend in
Ray
the
Rice?
Ray Rice, right? So you've got a lot of domestic stuff. Adrian Peterson beating this kid.
Yeah.
I mean, I was okay with that one because I thought was more disciplinary.
Yeah,
but
I mean,
whatever. I wasn't there.
this day and age, that isn't accepted by people, I guess.
Right. So what I'm saying is that you will come down so hard on those aspects, or you're not afraid to take a stance, but you will bring them back in, but yet you can't even make a comment. Like Roger Goodell in the NFL is even afraid just to make a comment on them kneeling.
Yeah, they haven't. They've never really said anything about that, huh?
No, they shouldn't, and they should, right? It's either okay. Well, look, next season, like what's going into the NFL contracts is this, right? That you will stand. I mean, they won't let you wear specific, right, jerseys, hats,
you can't wear
hats.
certain colored cleats with certain uniforms.
Right. So you're going to go to that level, but yet you're going to say it's okay for you to. And I guess the problem is you have to stop it at some point. Because when I mentioned you turn your back to it, I believe that was Bennett. I don't know which Bennett it was.
Marcellus. Or Martellus, right?
You talking about the dude from the Seahawks?
Yeah.
Or the dude on the Packers?
The dude on the Packers turned his back, I thought.
That's Martellus. Tight end. Yeah.
Well, it was whoever it was. It was one of the...
A Bennett character.
Sure. Anywho, he turned his back on... during the national anthem. And that's what I'm trying to get to then. Well, at what point is it too far? Because if you want me to stretch to say, you know what, it is a private entity, right? You are part of a private company of the NFL, and there is nothing preventing you from kneeling or from showing anything, fine. I will make that leap and say, you go ahead and do what you want to do. I don't agree with it, but I won't stop you. But then you want to now turn your back during the national anthem? Now I have a problem. Because now you're just adding a level of disrespect. That's my point. Like, what is next? You going to bring out like a little snare drum or some cymbals and just start ching, 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 like the whole time that it's playing? Because all you're doing is disrupting, right? You were starting to disrupt then, and then other people, I'll just disrespect. Because now that's disrespecting the flag. At that point, that is completely disrespecting.
I would even be more okay with the guys just not coming out of the locker room until after it's over. Like if you choose to do that, like I feel like that's a more like that. I feel like that could shine light on the situation too without disrespecting the flag. You know, if you just don't come out until after it's over, like I would be okay with that. I think that's fine.
Sure, whatever you want to do in your private time, that is your private business.
But what does that do to a team? Like, how divisive is that if, like, you're not going to step out with your team, right? And that just goes to show if the rest of your team, if literally 50 guys are on the sidelines and 48 are standing up and 2 aren't, I get it. Like, that is their individual right? But sports is a team. It's a team thing, and without a doubt, I think that needs to factor in.
I agree, and you. That is where you are getting into, okay, at what point you lose a lot of your personal freedoms no matter what job you have. Even if you're not making millions, when you go to work for the garbage company collecting trash on the street, there are rules and regulations. There are things that you have to abide by. Guess what? You can't be drunk while you're working. You know? I mean, you're going to go pick up some little kid then next to the little dumpster and crush him.
I'm sure that's happened.
Maybe not a kid. Maybe I should have said the homeless that are like looking for a little cheeseburger that I threw in there earlier, which I'm going to say that's not your cheeseburger, even though I threw it in there. That's my trash. Don't touch it. Okay. I guess I was the only one that found that humorous.
Sorry, man. You were saying it too serious. I was like, oh, fuck. Do I feel bad for that guy trying to eat TJ's cheeseburger?
Can I
see? But he's trying to be humorous about it. But he actually believes that, though.
Yeah.
He once told me that if he had money and he just decided to start ripping it up and throwing it in the trash can,
I would never deface U.S. government property.
But with that said, he said if it's in his hand at the time and he were to throw it in the trash can and you were to go in there and try to tape it up and use it, he would tell you to fuck off.
I don't think. I feel like what I've said closer to that is that if somebody asked me for $1, I would take out $5 and just light it on fire in front of them.
Yeah, maybe that's what it was.
Side tangent about this. I was out with Sean. This was months ago. It might even been last year, but we were at the local pool hall in town, billiards for those that actually play. So we were outside having each of us a cigarette, like we weren't sharing one. I'm not down for that. This guy comes up and he asks me for a cigarette, to which I tell him, nope, not giving you shit. Then he starts getting an attitude with me. All right, now this is like a homeless dude, so I really don't know what he was going to prove. Granted, he could have been an imposter. Maybe he wasn't homeless and he was just there and he was going to kick my ass and then I might not be here. But I digress. So he's trying to get a cigarette. I tell him no. I finish mine, and there's maybe for those that smoke or whatever, right? There was like 1 or 2 drags left of the cigarette, but I had just thrown it onto the ground. I went inside because this dude was annoying me. And if you guys have picked up on this from Sean, that are listeners, or at least you guys that know Sean, he's a talker, right? He'll sit there and he'll BS with anybody, and he'll try to make their day. He enjoys that stuff of like keeping it going. So I couldn't do this anymore because that's all Sean was doing. So I went inside, my cigarette's on the ground, right in the middle of the parking lot, oil, grease, gum. Somebody probably has pissed there before.
Vomited.
You probably the homeless guy.
So I go in and then I turn around and I look because I just had the hairs on the back of my neck started going up. This dude reaches down, picks up my cigarette, and goes get like the last 1 or 2 drags off of it. And I'm just, what the fuck is going on? So, anywho, the point I think where I was going with that is that my shit is my shit. Even when I place it in, onto the garbage, like that was mine. And so now all you really do is make me tell myself that, well, now I have to completely destroy it so you can't utilize it. I have to eat it all. I have to completely smoke a cigarette or a cigar. It's just, it's frustrating. There's this damn homeless motherfucker that is going up and down the streets in the neighborhood every morning on trash day and is pulling out cans.
Really?
Yeah. But look,
Man, fuck.
Yeah. Well, if I haven't seen him in my specific trash can yet, God
I would
help him
tell him
when
to get the fuck out of the trash can, man. I would do the same thing.
Yo, he's just
I
trying
don't,
to recycle,
I don't
man.
know if I am verbally going to say anything
It's
or
my recycling bin.
if an
If I'm
image.
out there and I notice it, I'm telling him to get the fuck away from my garbage can.
What if it's shiny? Do you know how much he wanted cans?
Yeah, but like, do you think he's ever stooped to that level? Come on, man.
Bro,
Don't
I've-
shine that light on him like that.
Bro, I've literally had him be like, yo, Ricky, I noticed you had these cans, man. And he's like, do you have any more in your trash? Don't worry about even thinking about it. I'll just check, all right?
Get the fuck out of here.
See,
crazy.
he's asking.
Dude,
he was a unique individual.
I mean, if it was him, I would probably still say it, and then he'd be like, Will, what the fuck? I'd be like, oh, shiny.
he'd be like, stop fucking real, man.
all right.
His
Anywho,
personality would pay for the cans. That's pretty much what it is.
so all right. Back to the whole point about your place of employment will end up having restrictions on you for what you can and cannot do, right? So you give up certain things.
Yeah, you'll have to bite your tongue at some point in
It's-
time at a fucking job,
Right. This is why I think then that yes, in regards to, right, we'll say like cohesion of the team or of the unit, these small things, while they may have right now they have the right to protest the social injustice and do that during the playing of the national anthem, it does start creating a domino effect to where you would have to state, look, everybody will be out there for the national anthem, right? At this time, everybody's out there, the whole team. Because if you don't solve it then, because if you just simply say that you must stand during the anthem, exactly what Rich says, people just won't come out then. They'll stay in the locker room. And I would say, like, nope, that is not what's going to happen. Everybody will be out there, right? Here's what I know you're about to say something, but you're making millions of dollars. What the fuck is going? Like, what are you worried about? Or I shouldn't say what are you worried about, but it's. Do you know how frustrating it is to the individual that is barely making ends meet, that loves this country, loves this flag, and that same flag is what is allowing you to be out there right now, doing what you're doing, just tossing a ball around and getting paid millions for it, and you can't even stand for the flag? That's frustrating.
No, it is, man.
And then if we're gonna, sorry,
No, go ahead. No, go ahead.
my apologies.
No, I actually didn't have anything to
Okay.
say there.
I didn't think so, which is why I was jumping in. Can another part of my life that I'm confused on often is
Sexuality.
Well, today's the day and age where that's okay. So
Yeah, we're not here to judge you.
We will talk about transgenderism on another episode. What I don't understand is the U.S. code. Because the U.S. code, Title IV, is the flag code. And it states that during the playing of the national anthem, you will stand and face it. You will put your hand over your heart, right? You will take off your hat. Your hat will be over your shoulder. A lot of these motherfuckers out there put their hat over their heart. That is incorrect. If you're a military member, right, you stand and salute if you're in uniform. What people always say is that, well, the U.S. code is just guidelines. Well, why the fuck do we even have it then? I mean, if it's nothing that you're supposed to abide by, what the hell? Now, surprisingly, when I was reading the code about the Title IV part about the flag, the federal government cannot impose any fines if you break one of the whatever a certain code. I'm not necessarily saying the flag code, but they leave that up to the individual states to impose those penalties. But like nobody wants to talk about that, right?
Like a lot of people don't even know that exists. Though.
Of course they don't, because they're morons.
That's the thing. Like in the media coverage that's going around, like they don't like. Do you think that those people know that exists? Does anyone here think that they think that it exists?
Who specifically?
They're
The
talking
players? I mean, the players, no, I highly doubt it. The
He's saying-
media definitely knows about it.
He's saying like the average like citizen of the United States, how many of them actually know about the flag code?
No, you're right. They don't. The majority of them don't. Right there is a lot of shit to the U.S. code. There is
of
a
course.
lot of stuff.
I mean, not to mention if they're using it as a way to protest through their First Amendment, that would trump a U.S. flag code. That's the reason why you're authorized to burn the flag, even though that's against the flag code, the way that they burn the flag, right? But it's authorized via like the Supreme Court via the Constitution.
That is correct. I don't agree with that, but yes, the Supreme Court said that is legal. That being said, though, it still frustrates me though that the media will state that they have a right to do this, right to protest and so forth, but then they are. I guess we can say, sure, has there been a Supreme Court decision stating that, yeah, you can turn your back then on this portion of the U.S. code?
I mean, I don't think that's ever been taken to court. Like, I don't think that would be like a landmark case, for instance, if it were to be there, because I don't think it's ever happened. No one's been like taken to the Supreme Court or even probably a federal appeals court for turning their back during the playing of the national anthem.
Yeah, and you probably would. If you're the individual taking it there, right, I'm sure you would win. Being on the side of disrespecting it, getting rid of it, yada, 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 right, not standing, I'm sure that person would win.
Yeah, ACLU would probably back them up in a heartbeat.
Right. Well, yeah, and like I said, going back to immediately what it says sort of in the beginning of the code is that the federal level can't do anything about it anyways. But it's just why is it so hard for we as a country to make that murder's illegal, right?
Correct, and it's not protected under the Bill of Rights either.
Right, but so anyways, why can we not make the respect for the flag then an actual like law that you will follow? If you don't want to follow it, multiple communist countries will gladly accept you.
I think a lot of it is like we should respect the flag, but I think if you go to that extreme where you're having to pass amendments or at least at a minimum legislation to protect the flag, at that point you do have to worry about like on the political side like what the opposition's going to say. They're going to compare America to Nazi Germany, and you're going to hear people on the left rant about how chaotic it is and how their freedoms are being stripped. When, like, in all honesty, like prior to the last 2 years, nobody was like sitting for the national anthem. Like, if they were, we weren't paying attention to it. You know what I mean? Like, this is a new thing. That's the other thing too with the NFL. The NFL can't just tell these people that they have to stand right now because they're still in the same contract agreement that they were on previously.
Yeah, they'd have to renegotiate their, what is it called? I
know it's the CBA or
yeah,
CBO.
CBA. I know that's what it's called in the NBA. It's called the CBA. But
yeah, I'm not sure what it's called.
In the NFL.
Yeah, I'm not sure either. But the big thing would be is the NFL would have to come and they would have to write guidelines stating that this is how they'd want it to be. And the players would, at that point, it would be like an argument. ESPN would cover it like, oh my God, are the players going to stick together on this or are they going to break? This is huge for them. It would be like all crazy and chaotic and shit. And then in the end, the owners would be like, hey, you don't have to fucking stand, but we're going to require more money and you're going to make less money than players. Like, what do you want? And the players will end up giving in because they don't care about this stance. They care way more about their own money.
I still find it hard to believe that they have never had this in any of their contracts because the other major sports have had it in there. And I guess I just feel if I was the owner of one, I would be saying, hey, give me some of their contracts. I just want to see what they have in there.
But you're also looking at like all the other main sports. They've gotten more and more restrictive on like physical contact and everything like that. Way before football did, they implement like basketball alone has implemented so many rules and penalties for
what you wear,
everything, and then NFL has slowly been following it. So by the time NFL is finally getting to this category, it probably will be implemented in the next 5 years, but it's just a slow pace, and we're just gonna have to deal with it like that. Well, that's what I hope.
You know what I think is funny though? If you, as an individual, a regular human being, you're getting your political stances, your activist stances from sports athletes, you're a fucking retard. Like
you're looking in the wrong place, is what you're saying.
Yeah, absolutely. Half these sports athletes didn't even do their college homework if they attended college, right? These schools ensure that like tutors and people basically do the assignments for them.
Yeah, I have buddies that are NCAA athletes, man. It's all real shit. It's all real shit that you're saying.
Exactly.
What are you being sarcastic?
No, I'm being dead ass 100% serious. Like friends of my friends are NCAA collegiate athletes that went there, did their time to play sports to bring money to the colleges. Some of them left with degrees that were basically handed to them. You know, they have like these fucking degrees that are literally like, oh, you're an athlete, so this is your major? Oh, okay, cool. What's up, bro? Like that kind of thing. Like that's a thing.
No, that's for real. So it's like these guys basically have high school educations, right? And you're listening to them for your political stances, like how crazy that is that? It's just like the celebrities, right? Like these movie star actors, right? They choose to do philanthropy, right? Whatever. You do what you do with your money. I'm a capitalist. I'm not going to tell you otherwise. But don't let Leonardo DiCaprio sit here and explain to me about science and about politics when this motherfucker has probably a theater degree. A theater degree is not even a real degree. I know theater kids right now that literally after graduation, if they can't land a role, they end up working at a coffee shop. They end up working at some basic place, and they have these school debts just loaded. So you're going to take financial advice. You're going to take social rights and understandings from individuals that have maybe slightly higher than a high school education. Like, come on. This is a fucking joke, right? Celebrities don't need to tell individuals where they need to stand politically. Celebrities don't need to tell you how to invest your money. Sports athletes absolutely have no business telling you about how to save and invest your money, right? Like, it's the most ridiculous thing ever. So if you're getting your political stances and social rights from these sports athletes, I think there's a bigger problem in your household, how you were brought up, and probably what your kids will believe than whether or not that you should be allowed to stand or sit.
And this plays into, like, I guess what the bigger picture of the entire episode was going to be, right? About, like, social media and media coverage and how people have this ability nowadays.
This episode?
Yeah, right?
This is about me saving lives.
Oh. Well, maybe I was thinking of the wrong schedule. Sorry.
No, it's okay.
But, no, like, think about it. Yeah, like, you know, would these people have been able to do these kind of things without social media and the way the media coverage works today? It's crazy, man. It's crazy. Like, this shit didn't happen 20 years ago, and things were probably more fucked up back then.
Yeah, I don't know if I want to go completely to they weren't happening before. I just don't think that we had the means. There was no means to spread it like a wildfire, right? You could basically contain the disease, cure it, right, and then put it away. Everything that Rich just said, I completely agree with.
Oh, yeah.
And that was well put.
Yeah, that was very well said, man.
So
thanks, guys. I wrote it.
Great.
Get the fuck out, man.
I'm kidding. It's all off the cuff.
Or it was plagiarized.
Dude, yeah.
I'm just kidding. It was
that
off the
sounded
cuff.
too good, man.
It
You
was
were in
off
the
the
mirror
cuff, yeah.
fucking before we all got here. Fucking
Bro,
looking at
It was
yourself,
nice.
dude.
It was
All this happens in the magic of the car or in the shower every once in a while if I'm taking a shit.
that's the way it works. The shower does so many good things, but before we move on to continue to expand then down the social media bit and where we have degraded as a society, I want to just try to at least put a final bow on the flag situation and kneeling in front of it.
Are you allowed to put a bow on a flag? Is that allowed in the code?
It's illegal. I'm sorry. It's frowned upon by the code. I guess I can't say it's illegal. So you do what you want to do. My position is this: find another time, another outlet to state what your cause is. Right? When you are making, as an individual that is making millions of dollars, or even right when you are in that upper echelon of the tax system, right? So if you're 200,000, 250,000 a year over,
250, yeah.
find another outlet. The flag is not the time to be doing it, because it, as I stated, at least for me, that flag represents so much more, and it is not supposed to, it does not represent, if you're looking at it as a living thing, a breathing thing, right? Old Glory would not want you doing that. Old Glory would not have been for the social injustices that are going on. It's the same blanket as, just because I'm white, don't put me in the category of white supremacist. If I am black, don't just put me into an uneducated black male. Well, don't then just say that, right, that the flag is what's... I mean, the cops weren't waving around the flag, because this is where it all spawned from. It spawned from the cops, right, and potential bad killings.
Yeah,
The first person to kneel was in the event of protesting that, correct?
Yeah, Colin Kaepernick with Alton Sterling and somebody else,
That one that's a pretty jacked up case though. Like, I've looked into that. That one's pretty jacked up.
No, of course, but minus those details. So this is what I'm saying. Like, yeah, they weren't waving around the flag, saying like, oh, because of this flag, we're going to keep putting you down. Pop, pop, pop. I'm going to shoot you. Now, look, even if they were doing that, that's still not the flag's fault, right? The flag is, not stating that. So, yeah, for me, it's find another outlet. I don't agree with it. You're making way too much money to be doing that crap. And if you want to be that serious about your cause and what you're preaching on, you walk away. But I don't see any of them walking away yet. I haven't seen Leonardo DiCaprio walking away from his jet, but yet he wants to take his jet every time to every other country and preach about global warming. Like, oh, good job, man. You're really doing a good thing by helping the ozone layer with your jet. Cameron, talk to me. What are your thoughts, man? Final thoughts on the protesting the flag, NFL players, NBA players.
So my final thoughts are pretty much what I stated earlier. I don't look towards my athletes for any opinions based on my political views or my social views. Or if you do look at them like that, just look at how the teams are made. They're not picking people for their
views,
their views or their opinions. They're basing them just purely off their athletic skills.
Which is why Kaepernick does not have a job right now, because he sucks.
Yeah, and there's plenty of other athletes that are every other color and every other standard that don't have jobs because they just did not live up to it. And then there's people that are paid way more because they are putting in the effort and holding their field. So that is what it is.
All right, yeah. I that was stated very well. I'm there to watch a game, so keep all the other BS out of it. Will.
Short and sweet, man. It's their right to do it, but I don't necessarily agree with it. Short and sweet.
Yeah, I think you have the right to do it. I think it's wrong to do, and I think it's the only way this gets better is obviously we recognize that we do. As long as we can admit that there is some social injustice out there, maybe it'll ease the individuals that feel like they have to speak out. But it's going to take players like a James Harrison to say, hey, this is my fucking flag, and no one on my team is going to sit for this flag because too many people have already died for it, right? You're going to need somebody that's a uniting piece and somebody that's respected on these teams to get people to not just give in to the social pressure that's being applied to them from followers and from other individuals.
Well said.
Everybody, now that we're on a short break, open up your fucking phone and leave us a review on iTunes. Please, if there's a topic that you would like us to discuss, anything, you have comments about the host, something you want to know about one of us, leave us a rating, subscribe to our podcast. We would love to interact with our fans.